And this is the head of the race, and this is the echelon formation that typically forms when the wind is starting to blow. And you can see that there's a few riders starting to blow here up front. Balmy conditions, perfect conditions at the moment, but now we're starting to see some attacks from the peloton, and things are getting very spicy indeed. And the likes of Oliver Nassen have got to put their shoulders to the wheel. They've got to, it's all hands to the pump really, to try and make sure that they can get this group back. Gap down now to 38 seconds, and some of the other squads starting to make their presence felt up front, with Movistar, Katusha Alpecin, Wanty Group Gobert. Everybody wants to get involved, and look at the way it's splitting into echelon after echelon. There's at the back here Damian Godin of the Direct Energy squad, just one of the big strong classics men that found themselves distanced but still with an opportunity to make it up front. And Brian, when the wind blows like this, well, it's just about strength. Everybody waiting, watching, and trying to maintain the gap as it currently stands, with the exception of one man. That's Luke Rowe. His career almost ended by that leg-shattering accident that happened when he was on holidays in Australia. Or was it New Zealand? I think it might have been. It was certainly down the very southern part of the globe, and it was, well, a series of operations ensued, and his leg was repaired to a remarkable extent, because at one stage it looked as if his career was over. But Luke Rowe has made a comeback, and how. Indeed, he said he'd never seen the gym before he had his accident, and now it's a regular part of his routine. He's incorporated into his training, and he's come back in many ways just as strong as he ever was, and he's added the experience.
And he's just about to make contact with the group in front. You can just see that with the peloton slowing down a little bit, that information's gone back. Luke Rowe's now made it 5 in front, so good effort, Luke. But you can see that they're not riding full gas at the moment in front. So his experience showed there. Look, he knew that the peloton weren't kind of chasing hard. These 4 riders in front trying to save a little bit, and great effort, went at the right time, and I think the 4 in front will be happy to see you know, another strong rider join them.
Alexander Kristoff wants to get in on the act. The big Norwegian has seen what Luke Rowe has done and fancies making it 6 teams represented up front as he takes his leave of the peloton. And, well, is anyone else going to be allowed to do it? Anyone going to be allowed to make it across the gap? That has come down now. 48 seconds between now 5-rider group up front and the main peloton.
5 riders in front: Sagan, Trentin, Tunison, Tuns and Rowe. Rowe went across. Can Kristoff make it across? But we still got some fast men in here, but some of these fast men have been in the front group. They've already used a bit of energy. Viviani has just been quiet. He's been looked after in this group behind, and I do think that Deconi Quickstep are trying to play that card today. Very disappointed last year. Can they keep it together? Nobody willing to take it on at the moment. Still 40 seconds, so it's anybody in this group here can still win this race. The strongest team seems to be the team in yellow from Jumbo-Visma, and they've ridden very well today.
Well, Luke Rowe's decided he's not going to give this one up without a fight. Inside 18 kilometres to go for the Welshman, who raced across into this group, and he realises it's coming back as Peter Sagan takes a glug of his bidon and says, well, it was worth fighting for. I'll try and save a little bit of effort for the sprint coming up in a little while. Well, that's not Luke Rowe's job, because he's not really a sprinter and he has no teammates. So this, why not? It's definitely the right move. This is the big one, and you knew it was going to have to come sometime, some way. Nicky Terpstra put his team close to the front, timed it nicely, and has got a little bit of daylight. He has given himself the opportunity. 15 kilometres remaining for the Dutchman. Knows that there is no chance in a sprint against riders of the calibre of the group behind, and now Terpstra is going for glory. Well, Nicky Terpstra has been second in this race in the past, back in 2015, and the former winner of Paris-Roubaix is a rider that is perfectly comfortable with the idea of living in total uncomfortableness for the next 15 kilometres. Others recognise the danger. Naturally enough, Stibar is not going to let a rider the calibre of Nicky Terpstra. Knows how good he is because he was teammates with him for so many years. Jens Kukelera as well, also recognising the danger. They almost but not quite make the juncture with Nicky Terpstra. Will they close that one down? Lucro goes to go solo, tries to ride across a gap to these four riders up front. Bauer tries to exhort his rivals into pushing on just that little bit harder than they are. I'm not sure he's got the legs to contribute himself, but he has, of course, got one of the world's best sprinters behind. Trenton waits to fire. Meanwhile, up front, Bauer in the company of Langeveld. Grundal Janssen is there as well, trying to go for this glory, to try and stay clear. Just over 2 kilometres remaining, and the steam goes out of it one more time. That could be just what these four need.
Yeah, a lot of the action now, which is looking good for the group of four. I'm not going to say it's over yet because it's still nip and tuck. All four riders now contributing. But I tell you what, Stibar, I think it comes to the front again, and they've been yo-yoing. This is the last opportunity now. You've got two of them in the blue jerseys, 2 kilometres to go for them. They have to really commit themselves if they want to bring these four riders back. Any hesitation in the group in front is going to be all over.
Straight round to the finish, and they are well under the kite and going for glory. Less than 1,000 metres remaining. It looks like this one could come back together again at the death. They can't afford to pussy butt here. Langeveld doesn't want to go sprinting with Stuyven. Attacks on the right-hand side. Stuyven knows he's going to have to be the one that closes it down, but you know what? They're not going to make it because the group have got back in touch, and Direct Energy helped there a little bit, as well as Jumbo-Visma come to try and get organised. Who are they going to try and set up? Will it be Van Aert or will it be Danny Van Poppel? They're all crowding around all of these squads that want to get involved. Has Trenton got something left for a sprint? Will we see something from Elia Viviani after the titanic efforts by his teammates to try and close it down? And Bauer wants to go clear to try and hang on for glory into the final few hundred metres. They're starting to launch. Godin wants to go for the Direct Energy squad. They're all out on their feet. Mohoric wants to go. Here we have coming through Jens de Buskere. Looks like de Buskere for the Katusha squad in prime position, going for glory.
Christoph.
Looks like, is it Christoph going for glory for the UAE Team Emirates squad? Can you believe it? Alexander Christoph, when he fought to get himself in position all afternoon, and Alexander Christoph has taken the glory in Gent-Wevelgem 2019. The Norwegian rider who was absolutely out on his feet, as indeed are so many of the other riders today. He made absolutely huge efforts to stay in that group, and he has delivered for the UAE Team Emirates. Fernando Gaviria is safely in the group, but not able to sprint. There wasn't a rider there able to produce what they would normally describe as their sprinters. Alexander Christoph got himself into perfect position and had the cool head at the end of the day when absolutely every single one of those riders had laid all the watts they had out on the road well before they got to that finishing gallop. A supreme effort from Alexander Christoph.
With the winner, Alexander Christoph, many congratulations. Huge victory. Talk us through that final kilometer.
Yeah, normally I was there. Fernando also was there. He did a great race, was in the front all day, but he told me in the last 10K he didn't feel good, so they say, okay, go for the sprint yourself, because normally I was supposed to lead him out. So yeah, I found a good wheel, and at the end I was the strongest in the sprint, so it's a huge victory for me. It kind of gonna save my spring anyway, how it goes now with this big victory. So of course I am happy with the win, and I see my shape is coming good coming to Flanders, but yeah, this is slightly easier than Flanders, but to get this victory is anyway one of the biggest victories in my career.
Really a great win, especially after the echelon racing we saw today. How did you get through that phase of the race?
Yeah, I was in second group. We had Fernando in front. It was good racing by him to stay there in the front, so we could take it more easy in the back. And yeah, I knew Kemmel could be crucial, so I tried to attack and anticipate a little bit before. So I was a little bit between in the front, and I managed to come in front of Kemmel, and yeah, then I knew I was safe being in the first group. But of course I was tired. It was a hard day from the start. But I saw everybody was really on the limit, so I knew I always have a good sprint when everybody's tired.
Congratulations, Alexander Kristoff.
Kristoff gets the win ahead of former winner John Degenkolb. Oliver Nassen gets up for a great third-place finish. Mathieu van der Poel just off the podium, but in a fine performance for the young Dutchman ahead of his fellow countrymen Danny van Poppel, Petit, Trentin, Selig, Mohoric and De Buskera rounding out the top 10. But it's Alexander Kristoff that tastes the glory on behalf of UAE Team Emirates.